Jaywalking? That's some petty ass.
This is the story of a man who crossed the street and paid a devastating price at the hands of out-of-control police officers.
I didn't do anything!
Hey, relax, you're jaywalking.
A 67-year-old man set out on a simple errand to grab a 50-cent soda from a vending machine at the local car wash / mini mart just a block from his home. But he would never get that soda because the Mansfield Police Department rolled up on him and immediately detained him for allegedly jaywalking across this empty neighborhood street. Knowing that he did nothing wrong, Charles complained, but the officers immediately grabbed him and then forcefully slammed him to the ground, severely injuring him. An army of officers then surrounded him and mocked him and belittled him.
I saw you jaywalking across Bowman Street earlier.
Jaywalking?
What'd you do? This officer tried to put you on the ground like that.
All the while ignoring the obvious physical injuries that he suffered at their hands.
My rib is killing me. I can't breathe.
I got an ambulance coming to check you out. Okay?
I didn't do anything.
Well, you were jaywalking.
After the incident, Charles gave the body cam footage to his local TV news station. The local community was shocked at what they saw, but the Mansfield PD is defiantly claiming that they did nothing wrong. But it's not so easy to gaslight the public when I'm around. So let's go through it together and see for ourselves. Charles Roberts, a Mansfield resident, was walking along West 4th Street just 30 feet from a designated crosswalk. It was a quiet night, the streets were nearly empty, but as he crossed the road, a Mansfield police officer, Officer Nelson, was approaching. What Charles didn't know was that this small act of allegedly jaywalking would lead to a violent encounter that would leave him quite literally broken. As Charles was attempting to get a soda out of the vending machine, Officer Nelson pulls up with his emergency lights on, and then he gets out of the car and he approaches Charles. Officer Nelson was followed almost immediately by a second Mansfield police officer with many others on the way. Officer Nelson was aggressive from the very first moment, and the situation escalated very quickly.
You got a problem here?
Yep. Let me see your hands, buddy. Let me see your hands.
What's the problem?
Turn around. Put your hands on top of
What?
the car.
Why are you stopping me?
You're in the middle of it. You just started walking the roadway.
Without any explanation or apparent reason, Officer Nelson just orders Charles to turn around and put his hands on top of the thing, which presumably refers to the vending machine. Understandably confused about why he was being arrested or taken into custody, Charles instead questions Officer Nelson's orders, which, by the way, is a perfectly normal and reasonable thing to do according to the federal courts. With very little communication having occurred, as soon as the second officer begins to walk up, Officer Nelson forcibly grabs onto Charles, turns him around, and pushes him up against the vending machine, ordering him to put his hands on the thing.
You went back up the
I was
sidewalk.
crossing the street.
Good.
Nelson?
Jaywalking across Bowman. I was turning around to see you.
Jaywalking?
Gotcha.
That's some petty ass shit.
Turn around, put your hands on top of the thing.
No, I'm not.
Sir, I'm asking you to turn around, put your hands on top of the thing.
Charles continues to protest about this, and when he does not put his hands on the thing, Officer Nelson suddenly and violently performs a takedown, slamming Charles onto the ground and landing himself on top of the 67-year-old man.
Put him on there. Put him on there. Put him on there.
What? My shoulder! Oh, God! Oh, God! Stop!
Put him on there. Let me see your hands.
Oh, God!
Let me see him. Let me see him. Let me see
You see them!
Give me your hands.
Here they are!
Give me your
Oh,
hands.
God, that was rib! Oh,
Give me your other one. What are you doing that for, man? Huh?
Dude, what?
Relax.
Hey,
I can't breathe!
hey,
Oh,
sir.
stop!
Sir, stop. That's enough.
You're killing my rib!
Hey, stop.
I didn't do anything!
Hey, relax, you were jaywalking.
Jaywalking.
When I ask you to turn around, stand on top
God!
of you, do that.
Oh,
Okay?
the road
All right,
was-
stand up.
I
You're
can't!
all
Oh, my rib!
But he wasn't all right. Records showed that 6 of Charles's ribs were severely fractured. 3 damaged so badly that the trauma care surgeon considered rib plating. which is a surgical procedure that stabilizes fractured ribs by securing them to metal plates to promote healing, which is only used in cases of severe rib injuries.
Get to the front.
He's sleeping full.
Oh, my
sit down on your
rib.
butt.
Wait. Oh, ow.
Hey,
Oh, God.
hey.
Oh, you broke my rib. Oh,
Civil directives, man. You gotta listen.
You better call the damn ambulance.
300 East Coast squad. He's saying his ribs broken.
All right, how about we give this officer your information, all right?
What's your name, buddy?
Quit calling me buddy. It's Charles.
What's your name?
Charles Roberts, buddy.
Be respectful, man.
I'm sorry?
Be respectful, all right?
Oh,
What's
you
your
slam
social,
into the
Robert?
ground?
Listen to what he said.
Roberts? Charles,
What?
what happened?
You asking me? Yeah. Nothing. Ask me what happened.
Listen, I saw you jaywalking across Bowman Street earlier.
Jaywalking.
What'd you do? Is this officer had to put you on the ground like that?
I can't breathe.
Charles.
What? My rib is killing me.
Yeah, I got an ambulance coming to check you out.
I didn't do anything.
Well, you were jaywalking, but
Okay,
okay, hold on.
Charles Robert. He is suspended in negative.
Whenever, how is it that I came from that alley? By the time I came over here, I heard you screaming and yelling to get off me, and then you were on the ground.
Ask them. They're the ones that did it.
Well,
Don't you guys act like I committed some major crime? I got every goddamn police officer in Mansfield circling me like Indians. When I did nothing. Okay.
Now, obviously, these officers weren't actually concerned about jaywalking, as it was 1 o'clock in the morning and there were no cars on the streets anyways. This was just a pretextual reason to stop and detain and question Charles. Now, I couldn't find anywhere on these dash cams actually showing Charles crossing the road outside of a crosswalk or jaywalking. So I'm not sure exactly where they were saying that this occurred, but I looked up the Mansfield ordinance on jaywalking. And when he went to court on this, by the way, he was found guilty of jaywalking. I'm not sure if that was a plea deal or some actual terrible judge convicted him of that, but I looked up the ordinance and it says, every pedestrian crossing a roadway at any point other than within a marked crosswalk or within an unmarked crosswalk at an intersection shall yield the right-of-way to all vehicles upon the roadway. So the way I read this statute is outside of him actually walking through the middle of an actual intersection, if he's just crossing a road, it doesn't appear to me to criminalize that behavior. It just says that he shall yield the right-of-way to all vehicles upon the roadway. There doesn't appear to have been any vehicles on the roadway. It might be a moot point though, however, because there was a conviction for jaywalking. But I'll just throw this out there that this entire thing is likely bullshit because he didn't even technically jaywalk, in my opinion.
Charles, how come you're acting like this tonight? You're never like this. You're always nice to us.
Because I didn't understand why.
I explained that to you, man.
Listen,
I see your hands and you
I got in
tense up.
Okay.
That wasn't very smart.
I went out, I own all that property down on the corner. Well, James and I got in an argument, so instead of arguing with him, I'd go for a walk.
You live right here.
On the corner.
Yeah.
And I usually walk to get away from him until he cools down.
You were staggering from over
I don't
there,
stagger. I have spinal
then you walked to
stenosis.
the road, then came back, and you said you jaywalked as well.
Charles.
So I walked up to see if anybody, which they do, quite often left anything on at the pavilion. Well, he's asking, he's not listening.
Right here, like he was doing
So then I had intentions, first off, of getting a soda. That's why that changed. It's all over the ground now. And that's why I came to the machine, and that's when he pulled it with his lights. I thought he thought I was breaking into the machine or something.
Well, I don't know if that's enough things to get a soda.
Well, it was. there somewhere. That machine is 50 cents.
Why are you sweating, man? Dang, I need to come here.
Why am I sweating?
Yeah.
You slammed me to the ground. I think I have a broken rib. I have a sweatshirt on with a shirt under that, and it's my
$2 for a monster? That's not right. So buy my monsters here instead of going to the Speedway.
Yeah.
I'm super tired.
I saw Jaywalking. Went down the flip.
all of this.
And then-
on the street.
Oh no, you wouldn't listen either when we were talking to you.
I know.
I'll do it.
Well,
Next time, man, just follow.
I wasn't involved.
I was waiting
well,
to hear
I
the
know.
word. I mean, if I had been here and I would have called dibs, you would have
Just safety reasons, you know what I'm saying? Let's see, let me see your hands.
No, I literally was. I pulled the bar and I was like stroking his head. I was like, sure, just calm down.
Well,
Yeah.
I love being manhandled anyway, so thank you.
Can you stand up?
I think if I can get
Huh?
on my side, no, straight up that way. Should I go?
We're just gonna leave you right there, Charles.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
Well,
write some summons.
Yeah, you gotta-
and stuff like
You
that.
can do that when he goes to the hospital.
ready? Okay. Bye, guys. Bye, sir. Still watch my property, though.
Charles, when you were over here by the pop machine,
That one there. That's the only one
yeah,
that works.
did they tell you to do something?
They did. And
What did you tell them?
I asked why they were stopping. Why the fuck they were stopping?
You know,
I don't know.
was that the best thing to do in that situation?
Well, it wasn't. I
Okay.
told you. I was arguing with James.
You know,
I went out to cool off. I walked up, and then I come to get a pop. I was heading back home.
yeah.
So,
All right. Well,
transference, that I took my anger from him and took it out on you guys.
well, on the ground. We got the squad coming to check out your rib. Okay, there they are.
The loud, overweight officer is the one who transported Charles to the local hospital. But later, Charles got to see Officer Nelson once again. When Officer Nelson walks into the hospital, he goes into the room where Charles is laying on the hospital bed, sort of writhing in agony, and there issues him a citation for jaywalking, resisting arrest, and obstructing. The prosecutor later dismissed everything except for the jaywalking.
Hello.
It's not gonna stretch too much further than that.
No, that's fine. Hi, how you doing?
Hey, good.
It was there. That's good.
Okay, all right. Well, because it's on a cord, so it's only gonna.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll take you.
Uh-huh.
All right, Charles. So I'm gonna charge you with obstructing, resisting, and then jaywalking, basically. Okay? I was have a crosswalk. All right. Right here. I'm sorry that it happened that way. Just next time, just try to listen. Okay? I need you to sign right here, and then your phone number. Okay, buddy?
Okay.
Just try to listen, okay? Is what Nelson said, implying that he was justified in severely injuring this man intentionally just because he didn't listen to him. Is that what the law is? Is that the extent of Charles's constitutional protections under the Fourth Amendment? No, of course not. So let's get to that. First, let's look at the actual police report written by Officer Nelson, or Patrolman Nelson, provided to me by Charles's lawyer. Officers initiated contact with Charles Roberts at the incident location in reference to crossing outside of a crosswalk. Upon approaching Charles, officers asked to see his hands, in which Charles was hesitant.
Let me see your hands, buddy. Let me see your hands.
Officers explained to Charles the reason for the stop, in which Charles stated, "That's bullshit."
Turn around. Put your hands on top of the crosswalk.
Why are you stopping me?
Officers gave several commands for Charles to turn around and place his hands above his head so he could be checked for weapons based on his behavior, which he refused.
You were in the middle of it. You were sort of walking the roadway. You went back with the
I was
sidewalk.
crossing the street.
Good.
Nelson?
Jaywalking across Bowman. I was turning around to see
Jaywalking?
Gotcha.
That's some petty ass shit.
Turn around, put your hands on top of the thing.
No, I'm not.
Sir, I'm asking you to turn around, put your hands on top of the thing.
A short struggle ensued and Charles was placed under arrest. Charles complained of rib pain and asked for medical. does this short paragraph even accurately represent what all the numerous cameras captured? No, it doesn't. It completely mischaracterizes the true facts that Officer Nelson, out of nowhere, escalated into violence. That in response to the reasonable questioning of why he was being arrested, he was then shoved up against a vending machine and then violently slammed down onto the parking lot asphalt. When the local community saw this absurd footage and the disgraceful manner in which these so-called public servants are acting following their severely injuring this pretty frail 67-year-old man, they weren't happy at all about it. As you can see, there are indications in this video that these cops are really cocky. So it wasn't a huge surprise to me to see that their police chief, Jason Bamman of the Mansfield Police Department, publicly responded, sort of claiming that, well, the video was taken out of context, as if it was just some viral cell phone video that only captured part of what happened. But the problem is that the video was their own body cam video. The local news showed it in perfect context. This is the statement that Chief Jason Bamman made defending the footage. Following the incident on April 22nd, 2025, a thorough internal review occurred. I determined that Officer Nelson's actions were consistent with the training and protocols provided to all officers of the Mansfield Division of Police. The use of force in this incident I deemed appropriate given the circumstances and in full alignment with established policies and procedures. It is important to emphasize that the use of force was not a response to the offense of jaywalking. Rather, it was a direct result of Mr. Roberts' actions during the encounter. To describe the incident as body slammed for jaywalking is inaccurate and misleading, as it fails to reflect the reality of the situation and instead creates an exaggerated narrative. The escalation occurred solely because of Mr. Roberts' resistance to lawful commands. Compliance with those commands would have prevented the necessity of any physical intervention. So now we know why this entire police department either has no training on Fourth Amendment rights, or they just don't care. And a lot of our fellow citizens are this way as well. They want you to obey the government or else. If you're injured, oh well, it was your fault. You should have obeyed more. You should have obeyed faster. F around, find out. The issue is not whether any amount of force at all can be used. The issue is not whether this guy could have been arrested. Although I would take issue with that, I don't believe there was even reasonable suspicion for a detention in the first place. But since there is a conviction, I'm assuming there was. Even though stopping somebody and acting this way based on an allegation of jaywalking is chicken shit. But for the sake of argument, let's call it justified. The issue is not whether that occurred. The issue is whether it was justified to slam this 67-year-old, 175-pound man onto the asphalt, fracturing 7 of his ribs, just because they allege that he failed to comply with orders. Ohio is in the 6th Federal Circuit, and it hasn't been that long since we discussed the Kentucky cases where the Kentucky State Troopers got indicted for engaging in violent uses of force in response to passive resistance, such as allegedly not following orders. We discussed Browning versus Edmondson, which is a 6th Circuit case from 2021, where qualified immunity was denied to police officers for tasing the occupants of a vehicle during a traffic stop. Why? Because it was a minor traffic offense. There was only passive resistance or non-compliance with commands that occurred, but the officer escalated straight to violence. The court held that a person failing to exit a vehicle is not active resistance and does not justify the use of a taser. Likewise here, Charles just not immediately turning around and putting his hand on the thing, whatever that was supposed to mean, did not justify an immediate violent response, such as slamming a 67-year-old frail man down onto the asphalt hard enough to cause him severe rib injuries, which I would argue is much worse than just tasing somebody. If only there was a word to describe this. Oh, I know, excessive. The issue is not whether force can be used, you authoritarian statist. The issue is whether or not it was excessive. Obviously, it was excessive here. You had 2 young cops there looking to fight. This department is a disgrace. This chief of police is a disgrace. And I hope these citizens there clean house. I could go on with the case law, but it's really not necessary. Who are you going to believe, the chief or your lying eyes? If I hear any updates, I'll do an update video, and you can follow along by subscribing here and at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X at JohnBryanESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.